Have you ever found yourself wondering, am I still attractive to others, even as the years go by? If so, you're not the only one. Far from it. Men from all over the country have shared thoughts like this with me. In fact, a gentleman named Tom, from Ohio, once told me, I'm not 25 anymore, but sometimes I still catch a look from someone and it stops me in my tracks. That moment? It's not just luck. It's not just wishful thinking. It means something. Because true attraction doesn't come from six-pack abs or a perfectly smooth face. It's deeper than that. It comes from confidence, from kindness, from the calm strength you build over time. These are qualities that no one in their 20s can fake, because they haven't lived enough life yet to earn them. So if you're in your 50s, or maybe your 60s, or even your 70s, and there's a quiet voice in the back of your mind saying, my best years are behind me, then I want to gently ask you to pause, sit back, and hear this story all the way through, because it might just change how you see yourself, and how others see you too. Now, let me be clear. There's no magic fix here. No secret formula to make you instantly irresistible. But there are some real, down-to-earth signs that show you've still got that spark. More than you might realize. From the way younger women feel relaxed around you, to the way they glance at you when you're simply sipping coffee and reading the morning paper. These little moments say something. They say you still have charm. You still carry presence. And people notice. In this message, I want to share 8 quiet but powerful signs that show you're not just an attractive man. You're a deeply attractive, mature man. And this isn't just me trying to boost your ego. It's not a pat on the back for getting older. It's based on real life, and shaped by the honest voices of hundreds of women I've spoken with over the years. So if you're curious, if you've ever had that surprising moment when someone looked at you, and it stirred something inside, then I invite you to stay with me. Keep an open mind. Let's explore these signs together one by one. And if you're watching this on video, go ahead and tap the like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. And turn on the little bell, so you won't miss out on the next conversation. Or, if you've had a moment where someone looked at you in a way that made you pause, tell your story in the comments, because you're not alone. And your experience might just be the one another man needed to hear today. Remember, life isn't counted by the years. It's measured by how fully you live each one. Now, let's begin with the first sign. When younger women feel truly at ease around you. Have you ever noticed how some younger women seem to enjoy being around you? Maybe they smile when they talk to you. Maybe they sit nearby when there are plenty of other spots available. Maybe they start casual conversations just out of the blue. Now, that might seem like nothing special at first. You might think, oh, they're just being polite. But let me offer a different perspective. What you're seeing is actually a quiet sign of connection. It's not flashy. It's not loud. But it's real. You see, when a young woman chooses to be near you and feels relaxed doing it, it usually means one thing. She feels safe. She feels comfortable. And that comfort doesn't come from your looks or your clothing. It comes from the energy you give off. You're calm. You're steady. You're not trying to impress anyone. That quiet confidence? It's more powerful than most people realize. David, a 58-year-old from Seattle, once told me a little story. He said, every time I stop by the cafe down the street, there's a group of college girls who always seem to grab the table next to mine. At first, I figured it was a coincidence. But now, I'm starting to think maybe it's because I make them feel comfortable in a way younger guys just don't. And he's absolutely right. There's something deeply attractive about a man who doesn't need to prove anything. Someone who listens more than he talks. Who gives people space instead of pressure. Who smiles gently instead of forcing a laugh. That sense of ease? That's rare. And people feel it. Sometimes, attraction isn't about the way you look. It's about how you make someone feel. Safe. Heard. Seen. When you've lived enough life, you carry a different kind of strength. Not the kind that's loud and full of energy, but the kind that lets people breathe easier when they're around you. And while women may not say it out loud, their actions speak clearly. They stay in the conversation longer. They lean in just a bit more when you're talking. They laugh with ease not because they're trying to be polite, but because they actually feel good around you. If you've ever noticed that certain younger women seem to show up at the same cafe, the same gym, or even the same grocery store aisle more than once, it might not be coincidence. They're drawn to something, and that something is you. Not because you look like a movie star, not because you're trying to be someone you're not, but because you show up with calm, quiet strength, the kind that says, I'm here, I'm grounded, and I see you. So the next time a younger woman strikes up a cheerful conversation, or smiles just a little longer than expected, don't overthink it. Just take it as a quiet nod, that you've still got it, and what you have now might just be more valuable than what you had at 25. Let me ask you something. Have you ever had someone say, hey, you look really sharp today? Or maybe, I love that scent you're wearing? If you have, you might be noticing something that matters more than people think. You see, when it comes to attraction after 50, it's not about looking like a fitness model. It's not about chasing trends. We're trying to keep up with what the younger guys are doing. What really stands out is how you carry yourself, the way you dress, the way you move, even the little details like the way your shirt is pressed, or the clean look of your shoes. Ronald, a 62-year-old from Austin, Texas, said it best. I don't dress to impress. I just wear what feels right. A gray blazer, khaki pants, clean leather shoes. Nothing fancy, but people still say you look put together. And they're right. It's not about spending big bucks. It's not about hiring a stylist. It's about knowing who you are and showing that in how you present yourself. When a man steps out of the house wearing a clean button-down, well-fitted jeans, and a hint of cologne with a warm, woodsy scent, people notice. Not because you're trying too hard, but because you've taken the time to care. And that quiet confidence, it shows. Women, especially, pick up on that energy. They might not always say it directly, but they notice when your hair is trimmed, when your clothes fit well, when your shoes are clean, and when your scent lingers in just the right way, not loud, but smooth and subtle. Sometimes a simple comment like, you smell nice, or you've got a classic look, is more than a compliment. It's a sign of interest, a sign that they see you as someone who still brings presence into a room. And here's the truth a lot of people miss. After 50, your appearance doesn't matter less. It actually matters more. Because by this point in life, your look tells a story about how you live, how you value yourself, and how you still choose to show up not for anyone else, but because you respect yourself. You don't need to follow fashion magazines. You don't need to dress like a celebrity. All it takes is a clean, simple outfit that fits well, a touch of grooming, and that calm, steady energy that comes from years of experience. That's what style really is. Not about the labels on your clothes, but about the message you send. So the next time someone says, you always look so polished, or you've got great taste, take a moment, smile, because they're not just noticing your shirt or your shoes. They're noticing the man you've become. And that is something truly attractive. 3. Have you ever noticed a look? One that lasted just a second longer than you expected? Maybe it happened while you were picking out fruit at the grocery store, or sipping your morning coffee at your favorite cafe. Maybe it was at the gym while tying your shoes. Wherever it happened, something felt different. It wasn't just a glance. It lingered. It paused, like someone was quietly curious. Raymond, a 61-year-old from Colorado, told me once, I used to think those glances were just accidents. But when it started happening again and again, I realized maybe it wasn't just in my head. He's not alone. And if you've ever caught someone looking at you like that, even if only for a few seconds, that moment meant something, especially when it comes from a younger woman. Because let's be honest, most women don't walk right up and say, I find you attractive. No, their signals are quieter, more subtle, but just as real. A glance that holds for half a second longer than normal. Eyes that don't rush past, but take their time. Maybe she brushes her hair behind her ear. Maybe she tilts her head slightly, or gives you a soft, effortless smile. These are small things, but they're not random. They're signs of attention, tiny gestures that speak louder than words. And they often happen in calm places. At a park bench, in line at the bookstore, while waiting for a coffee. She looks once, then again, maybe even a third time. That's not just coincidence. That's curiosity. Something about you made her take notice. It might be the gentle gray in your beard, the quiet way you carry yourself, the kindness in your expression when you say thank you. And here's something you should know. Not everyone gets that kind of second look. It's not about having a perfect body or flawless skin. It's about presence. It's about the kind of energy that makes people feel calm and seen. When a woman holds your gaze for more than a passing second, then looks away quickly, she's not being shy. She's watching for your reaction. She's wondering if you saw it too. But here's where many men miss the moment. They look away. They shrug it off. They assume, she's probably not looking at me, but she might be. And that glance might be the only sign she's willing to give. The truth is, after 50, your confidence becomes quieter. Your appeal comes from how you listen, how you stand, how you treat people. And believe it or not, that kind of charm makes women take notice. So the next time you catch a glance that feels just a little longer than usual, don't dismiss it. Don't second-guess yourself. Just meet it, gently, with calm eyes and maybe a soft smile. Because in that simple moment, you might have just become the best part of her day. And maybe, without even knowing it, she became the best part of yours. For there's a kind of attractiveness that doesn't show up in photos. It doesn't come from six-pack abs. It's not about being flashy or loud or the center of attention. It's something quieter, something deeper. It comes from the way you carry yourself. After everything life has taught you, it shows up in the way you sit and listen, in the calm way you speak, in the steady presence you bring to the room. If people come to you for advice, if friends, coworkers, or even total strangers feel comfortable opening up, that's no accident. You're not just easy to talk to. You're someone they trust. Robert, a 67-year-old retired engineer from Minneapolis, once told me, "I used to be surprised when younger women at the office asked me for advice. Not just about work, but about their personal lives. I didn't give long speeches. I just shared what I'd lived through. And they listened. Really listened. That's the magic of experience. You don't need to prove anything. You don't try to be anyone's mentor. You just offer steady, honest guidance. And that draws people in. You're not rushing to talk. You're not interrupting or trying to fix everything. You're simply being there, fully present. And that alone brings peace, especially for younger people, in a world that's fast, noisy, and often overwhelming. Your calm energy feels like a breath of fresh air. They're not looking for someone to impress them. They're looking for someone who gets it. Someone who's been through the storms and come out the other side. Someone who's still standing, maybe a little older, maybe with some gray hair and worn-in shoes, but grounded, authentic, and real. And the truth is, that kind of presence is rare. It can't be faked. It can't be rushed. It's built over time, through tough seasons, big choices, and quiet moments of growth. If people turn to you when they're unsure what to do, that says more about your attractiveness than any mirror ever could. Because they don't just want your opinion. They want your clarity, your steadiness, your lived-in wisdom. And no, you don't need to dress up or show off to be noticed. You already are, in the most meaningful way. This kind of appeal doesn't fade as you age. It actually grows stronger. Because as your hair gets lighter, your eyes often get brighter. And when you speak, people don't just hear you. They feel heard. So next time someone asks for your advice, or shares something personal out of the blue, take a quiet moment to appreciate that. Because in a world full of noise, your quiet strength might be the most powerful thing they'll feel all day. 5. There's a kind of confidence that doesn't need an audience. It doesn't shout. It doesn't take up extra space. And yet it speaks louder than any words ever could. You've probably seen it. Or maybe you've lived it. It's not the kind of energy that walks into a room to be noticed. It's the kind that enters quietly but makes people turn their heads anyway. James, a 64-year-old former Marine from San Diego, said it this way, "I don't raise my voice like I did when I was younger. Now I just sit wherever I am quiet, relaxed. And somehow, folks come over and start talking. No effort needed." That says a lot. Because in your 20s or 30s, You might feel the need to prove yourself, to show you're interesting, smart, strong, impressive. But somewhere along the way, maybe in your 50s, maybe a little later, that urge fades, and something else takes its place. A calm certainty, the kind that doesn't depend on looks or titles, the kind that shows up in the way you carry yourself. You don't need bold patterns or designer brands. You don't need to fill the silence. You don't need to lead every conversation. All you need is to walk into the room, stand tall, keep your gaze steady, and simply be there fully present. People notice that, especially women, not because you're loud or flashy, but because you're centered. And that calm energy, it's rare and deeply attractive. In a world full of people trying to be the loudest voice, the calm man becomes the one people gravitate toward. He doesn't need to perform. He doesn't need to chase attention. And yet, he often ends up being the one they remember. Maybe it's the way you sit with ease, the way you hold your drink without fidgeting, the way you speak with intention. Not too little, not too much. That kind of presence isn't something you can fake. And it sure doesn't come from reading a book or taking a class. It's earned through time, through mistakes, through challenges you've met and lessons you've learned, through years of showing up even when things got tough. And over time, you begin to understand. You don't need to be the most impressive man in the room. You just need to be you. Steady, honest, grounded. And the most surprising part? That quiet self-assurance, that ease you now carry, often becomes the very thing that draws people in. You're not chasing attention. You're not trying to be charming. You're simply living with calm purpose. And in doing so, you've become someone who stands out without trying. So the next time you're at a dinner, a cafe, or even a simple get-together, and someone glances your way, or starts a conversation without you saying a word, just know, that's no accident. Your calm, confident presence is doing the talking, and it's saying more than you realize. 6. There's a kind of health that doesn't ask for attention. It's not loud. It's not about flexing in front of a mirror or showing off online. It's quieter. But when people see it, they notice. It's the kind of wellness that comes from staying active in real life, like taking your morning walk, carrying a full bag of groceries without asking for help, or climbing up a few flights of stairs without getting short of breath. Gregory, a 60-year-old computer tech from Charlotte, once told me, "I'm not out here trying to be an athlete, but I still bike about 10 miles, 3 times a week. No big gut, no back problems. And lately, even younger folks are asking me, how do you stay in shape?" That question says a lot, because it's not about having the body of a 25-year-old. It's not about spending hours in the gym or skipping every dessert. It's about something much more real: consistency. You move with ease. You stand tall. Your voice sounds clear. Your eyes look focused. Your hands are steady when you open a jar or pick up a heavy box. And when someone says, "You look strong," or "I hope I'm that flexible when I'm your age," that's not just a compliment. That's quiet admiration. They're picking up on something you may not even realize you're showing. They can see and feel that you take care of yourself, that you've made choices to stay mobile, alert, and steady, not just for the sake of looks, but because you respect your own health. This kind of strength doesn't happen by accident. It's the result of showing up for yourself, over and over again, through simple habits, through mindful meals, through choosing movement over excuses. And that's something women especially notice. Not the look-at-me kind of fitness, but the kind that shows you live with intention, that your energy doesn't come from caffeine or supplements, but from real living. You don't need sculpted arms or magazine apps. You just need to keep moving, keep stretching, keep lifting what needs to be lifted, and doing it with ease. Soon, you'll hear things like, "You still look fit. What's your secret?" Or maybe just a nod of respect when you bend down, stand up, and carry on without effort. And those subtle words, they mean more than you think. Because in today's world, where too many people start slowing down after 40, your steady movement, clear energy, and flexible frame, they stand out. They say, "This man didn't give up on his body. He still shows up for himself." And that is something people admire even if they never say it out loud. So when you notice someone watching you as you move with ease, or when they offer a quiet compliment, take a moment to appreciate it, because your everyday strength might just be inspiring someone else to take better care of themselves too. 7. You don't have to be a stand-up comedian to make someone laugh. And honestly, most people aren't looking for perfect timing or a clever punchline anyway. But if you've noticed that women, especially younger women, laugh when you tell a story, even when the joke's a little old school or slightly cheesy, that's saying something. It's not just about the joke. It's about how they feel around you. Dennis, a 63-year-old part-time accountant from Oregon, once told me, "I always say, if I have coffee after 3 p.m., I'll be up all night reading the microwave manual." Sounds ridiculous, but the girls at the cafe laugh every time. Why does that happen? Because laughter isn't only about the words. It's about the way you say them, the warmth in your tone, the calm way you tell a story like you're in no rush, and the fact that you're not afraid to sound a little silly. That right there? It's incredibly appealing. It shows you're comfortable in your own skin. You don't need to impress anyone with slick jokes. You're not performing. You're just being yourself. And in a world full of people trying to be cool, trying to sound sharp or clever all the time, your easy, gentle humor stands out. It makes people feel safe. It makes them feel welcome. Because when a woman laughs at your story, even when the joke isn't all that polished, what she's really saying is, "I like the way you make me feel. I enjoy being around you. You help me relax." And you might notice other things, too. Her smile lingers just a little longer. She plays with her hair while talking to you. Or she leans in, just slightly, as if drawn closer by your energy. These little signs? They're not random. They're signals. Signals that she feels emotionally connected even if she's not saying it out loud. Humor, especially as we get older, isn't about clever wordplay. It's about connection. It's about how your presence makes someone feel lighter even if just for a moment. And that kind of laugh, the one that's soft and genuine, is far more powerful than any viral joke online. So if women laugh when you share your little stories, if they smile when you say something only halfway funny, don't brush it off. That's not just politeness. That's real interest, real comfort. You don't need to be the wittiest man in the room. At 55, 60, 70, or beyond, you just need to be the man who helps someone smile, without trying too hard. Because in the end, the man who can make a woman feel at ease, who can bring a laugh with nothing more than a gentle story, is the kind of man people want to be around. Not for the joke, but for the feeling. And that's what truly matters. 8. Not everyone shows interest by saying it out loud, especially not women, and especially not when the man they're drawn to carries himself with quiet strength and doesn't need to chase attention. If you've ever noticed a woman glance your way with a soft smile, or brush her hair behind her ear while you're speaking, or tilt her head in that curious, open kind of way, you might be seeing more than just politeness. These little signs, they matter more than most people think. Matthew, a 59-year-old real estate consultant in Phoenix, once shared, "I kept wondering why younger women would sit near me at seminars. They'd mirror how I sat, laugh softly when I spoke, or touch their necks while listening. It wasn't until a friend nudged me and said, 'Matt, they're flirting with you,' that I finally saw it." See, women often express interest in quiet ways. It's not like in the movies. It's not loud or bold. It's in the details. A light touch on your arm during a conversation, a knee brushing against yours and not pulling back, holding your gaze just a little longer before looking away with a smile. Sometimes it's even more subtle. They might sit closer than they need to, ask you something they could have asked anyone, but chose to ask you, or they echo something you said, like they want to keep the conversation flowing. All of these are signals, small ones, but real ones. They're ways women test the waters, not because they're unsure about you, but because they want to feel safe in how they connect. They're watching to see how you respond. Do you catch the moment? Do you meet her with warmth without making it awkward? And here's the truth. A lot of younger women feel more comfortable showing this kind of interest with older men. Why? Because they trust you won't rush in or read too much into it. You're grounded, patient, and respectful. That's why they laugh at your stories, even the simple ones. Why they keep eye contact just a little longer. Why they mirror your words, your gestures, your energy. Not because you're trying to be charming, but because how you carry yourself feels safe. And that's powerful. You don't need to say much or do anything special. Just being calm, present, and yourself. That's more than enough. So next time you notice one of those gentle signs, a soft laugh, a glance that lingers, a casual touch that didn't have to happen, you don't need to act on it right away. Just take it as a quiet confirmation. You're still making a lasting impression, not because you're chasing it, but because you've grown into the kind of man who understands this one simple truth. Real connection always starts with something small, and that is what makes it real. Conclusion: if you've ever thought that attraction fades with age, that it only belongs to the young, then I hope after hearing these 8 quiet signs, you're beginning to see things differently. Because here's the simple truth. You don't need to be 6 feet tall. You don't need chiseled muscles. And you definitely don't need to make 6 figures to be seen, valued, or desired. You just need to be a man who lives with intention, who knows who he is, who carries himself with quiet confidence, not for show, but because he respects himself. A calm nod, a warm smile, a simple joke that brings real laughter without trying too hard. These small things, they go a long way. Attractiveness isn't something you chase. It's something you build through your choices, through your habits, and through the way you show up for yourself and for others. When you go for your walks, when you press your shirt before heading out, when you pause and truly listen during a conversation, you're sending a message. One that says, I'm here, I care, and I still show up fully in my life. That kind of presence, it speaks louder than words, and it lasts longer than any youthful look ever could. The best part is, you don't need to rewind the clock. You don't have to be younger. You just have to return to what matters most. Because attraction isn't tied to age. It's tied to how you live right now at this age. So the next time someone holds your gaze a little longer, smiles at you across the cafe, or offers an unexpected compliment as the elevator doors close, don't brush it off. Don't assume it's nothing. That moment might mean more than you think, because you may already be the kind of man they admire. Mature, grounded, kind, and quietly magnetic. And if any part of this felt familiar, if you saw yourself in these signs, I invite you to share your story. Even a small moment could encourage someone else. You never know who's listening, or who needs to hear that it's never too late to feel confident again. And if this message meant something to you, go ahead and tap the like button, hit subscribe, and turn on the bell so you won't miss what's coming next. We'll be back with more stories, more insight, more reminders of who you are and who you've always been. Because real beauty, real strength, they don't fade. They deepen, just like you. Thanks for spending time with me today. Until next time, take good care.